All right, welcome to what we're going to call 7 Minutes in Heaven. My name is Michael. I sometimes make music under the name Wet Heaven, hence the name. I also make music under the name Baby Giraffe. I've played in some bands, so at times I've appeared to know what I'm doing with this, but I'm mostly a hobbyist. I make very little of my income from music. I have a day job that absolutely destroys me. So in my free time, I like to play around in here. This is in here is a bedroom in an apartment, and it's really messy right now. And then this way is like a backdrop, and then the computer. But this isn't a big studio. This is done with headphones mostly. I have monitors. It's mostly for when we like come in here on a Friday and we play music on the monitors or records or whatever. So I'm not a pro, but I'm part of a Facebook group. One of the only reasons to remain on Facebook is because of the groups. Online communities are obviously very important amongst like anything, of course. Electronic music and all its various sub-communities, for better or worse. Musicians gear. I was on Bolt.com in 1996 in the pro wrestling like Makeout Club and like what was it nevergetoveryou.net and like Mad Rad Hair and all those like emo sub communities and whatever. But there's not much that Facebook is good for anymore outside of these groups. Hardware Jams is a group that focuses on music made. The term that gets used a lot is DALL-less. Music made without constructing it solely on a computer. These are obviously also computers, though. Any sort of sequencer you get will be a computer of some sort. So what's the term worth? It doesn't matter. But collectively, this is called hardware. And this Hardware Jams group has a weekly, on Fridays, I wake up and I check what's the Hardware Jam challenge for this weekend. And it's like the equivalent of a writing prompt for people who muck around with this sort of stuff. And sometimes it's like a really deep, like you have to really think about it. Sometimes it's just like do this genre. But this recent week, suggested by a member or an admin, Lisa, was the 5-minute from scratch jam challenge. And there's been one like that before. And I like these ones because it's just like you set a timer, or at least so some people perceive it differently. But the way I perceive that by reading it is you set a timer and you just go. And you have 5 minutes, and whatever you come up with at the end, it shouldn't be polished, because if you can polish in 5 minutes, I mean, you're not challenging yourself enough in some sort of way. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to think in very fast and small increments. Because, anybody who does this sort of thing, this is like sitting down and playing SimCity. You look up and it's 3 or 4 hours later and you're just like noodling and fixating on a hi-hat, and it can suck the fun out of stuff at sometimes. So this is inspired by the recent 5-minute from scratch challenge. The one I did, people commented that they appreciate the commentary over top. To a lot of people who aren't familiar with or don't get to be around this sort of stuff, or just look at it as like, oh, that's just stuff, and that's cool too. It's just the equivalent of like hitting spacebar on a MacBook and DJing or whatever you do with space-bars. So some of the feedback I was given, the commentary is enjoyable. It's appreciative to kind of see where the mindset is, what's going on, etc. I like watching that too. I also am a big fan of, like, I don't want to call myself a YouTuber because you can go back and look at, because I do stuff like this. I don't have professional gear. This is one of those, I don't know if you can see it, those like round Logitech, like I have one, here I'll show you. This doesn't count as part of the 7 minutes, by the way. Like those style, it's one of the newer ones from that, but like, some of this gear is from Value Village. And that's cool too, because it's within budget. I can run a 2-camera setup. I need one for this. As I was saying though, I want to be not a YouTuber, but also not one of those people who appears on camera because I've often really enjoyed a YouTube channel and, been like right on board. And then it just becomes a little like, what are you selling me? I'm not interested in buying you. I like your content. I don't need to see you. And I'm moving the wrong direction here. I think that's cool for this too. I think you're more interested in this. I'm probably more interested in this than you are of the talking. So I'm going to very quickly, and just at the beginning, this is like the pilot episode where you get all the character introduction, whether you need it or not, introduce what everything is. And then in future episodes, it'll just become a graphic. But this is a bit, So the brain of the entire operation is this MC707 rolling group box. Gives you 8 channels across. Apparently, it's a lot like Ableton. I've always veered away from Ableton because I like the linear workflow, but apparently I would like Ableton because I like setting stuff up this way. There's a bunch of clips. Each fader is assigned to a different track. Each track is a different sound. Each clip can be a different sound too, but I usually don't do that because I don't do it depends on the project. This one, it's not worth doing. From here, there is some MIDI happening. Channel 1 is like my drum track. It's pre-assigned at the beginning of these videos because it doesn't make sense to watch me assign MIDI for the first 30 seconds. I feel like I can take that liberty and go, you don't want to watch this, we're going to not count that. Or else it's like 7 minutes and 30 seconds in heaven. MIDI channel 1 out the back. Ooh, man, I got to figure out. Real YouTubers, what do you do with this? You probably all have like DSLR cameras mounted from your ceilings. And not a Logitech webcam on a $4 Dollarama grip thing. MIDI 1 out to the Roland TR-8S. I'll probably try to start every project just with an 808 kit, and then we can move on to something else. MIDI channel 3 is out MIDI 2 into the Korg Minilog XD. I have it. I might as well use it. It gets programmed on channel 3. I usually fade down channel 3 unless I just want to double what I'm doing here. But so usually channel 1 and 3 are active, sending MIDI to other instruments, but fading down. It's long been on a wish-want list because other groove boxes can do it to have, mock MIDI, like MIDI that doesn't take a full channel but just operates in the back of the system. There's a name for it. Other groove boxes can do it. And then I won't lose 2 channels that are just sending out to somewhere else. I'll have 8 full instrumentation. Sometimes I'll double the drums, but if I'm playing with tuning on this, I got to play with tuning on this. Tuning doesn't carry over globally through the MIDI or anything like that. MIDI keyboard driving the MC707. Everything comes into a Zoom L12 live track recorder and recorded as a separate WAV file per channel, which is super handy. I have a guitar amp here, a Roland Cube 20XT, something like that. I don't know. It's the best $20 I've ever spent with music. Really beautiful cleans. If you just want to go drive in, whatever, it's great. I have it going out into there. So I play with headphones on. I get the full tone of this amplifier, and I get to mix it in this environment. I probably won't be doing that a lot in these jams. A Squire Guitar. I like it a lot. It works for me. I don't have to worry about it. It cost me like $250 a decade ago. I've certainly played its worth. It's starting to accumulate lots of rash. Where are we? It's looking beat up because, lives here. But we're cool with that because then I can really go at it, and I'm happy with it. But again, these 7-minute jams probably won't contain so much guitar. The other thing, I can find where I put my phone. I found my phone. The other thing is that because I'm starting like just dead, I don't know what I'm, 7 minutes. There's a app on this phone that I carry called Inspirator word generator. It was free. You tap it because it starts with the last thing, which I think is grieving was the last prompt, and I didn't get to use it. I'll tap grieving and it'll give me a new prompt. And then at least that's something to think about, even if it sounds nothing like that's not part of the challenge. I'm not going to list the prompt anywhere. I shouldn't. But it's something to go on because there's no BPM. There's nothing. We don't know. This is blank. There's routing, and then there's the TR 808, and that's it. So I'm going to hit this. Wait, I'm going to have a drink of water. I'm going to hit this. We're going to set up a timer within view-ish, and we're going to see what happens over 7 minutes. And if I feel like describing the process, I will, but I'll also be mindful that some of you are just here to watch this happen. And that's cool too. So here, let's see. That was the last one, grieving. Did you see it? That's pretty cool. Waterproof. I make music under wet heaven, waterproof. So do I go like something, does that benefit me, or is that like, no, like waterproof should be the opposite of what you do? I don't think either really work in that way, but maybe that's where we start. Maybe it's like go very out of my element. Maybe I got to think, what is waterproof? I had a pair of waterproof shoes once, but that doesn't help me at all either. So it doesn't matter. I'll keep waterproof in my head. I'll try to make it not watery, or I'll try to make it watery, but also proof. We're going to hit that timer, 7 minutes in heaven. I don't want to say episode 1, but this is episode 1. Okay, so timer is going. I got to start with some sort of drum. I got to designate at least, it's going to be like 4/4, whatever, some sort of tempo. I'm going to drop it waterproof. When you think waterproof, what do you think? You think dry? So why is it gonna make it no reverb whatsoever, dry as can be. It's gonna hit some things. That's okay. What else did we got? Let's go channel 3, which is a MIDI out. I'm about a minute deep, a little bit of a minute deep. So I'm just gonna patch dive here. What do we got? The Organ XD, number 41 on Holly XD ships. Beautiful. I don't know about waterproof though. Do I have to dry that up too? That sounds cool. What are we at? C, F, A. So that's like just a different invert. Is that, I think they're called, I don't know theory, invert. So, okay. Back over to here, create. I could really use one of those headsets like the Undertaker had at his Hall of Fame ceremony. He looked ridiculous. He looked like a weird youth pastor. Let's record this. That's terrible. Let's we can use the same chords, but it doesn't have to be that long. It can repeat after 32 steps. Where were we? That's all we need. No variation. Just leave it as is and build. Okay, so that's a thing now. What else? We need some bass. I mentioned in the Hardware Jams version of this that I'd like to use the random function more often than not, instead of just going to something I know sounds good. That's like fat enough, that'll do. Everyone's gonna think this first episode is so bad. Ugh. Why would I watch a second? Sometimes I know what I'm doing. What do we got? 2 minutes. Fourth track. Let's add. I want to add like. Okay, well, let's try random again. But let's do mod, like some sort of modulated. Oh, they're all going to be flangers, aren't they? That's cool enough. Where are we at? 1:55 left. So I think this is useful as a guide of like, I'm not playing a lot. There's a lot of people who make music strictly drag and drop now. And it's like totally a legit way to make music, is just composing with samples that someone else has made. And you purchase off Splice or whatever, and that's totally cool. But like just mashing stuff is just as valid too, I think. So close to being okay. Just turn it way down. I don't know about waterproof. I don't know if this says waterproof at all. There's dodgy notes here that I would go back and clean up. What else have we got? Can we do something weird? Gonna bother with that last one. Clear it. Gone. Anyways, we're there it is. Dismiss. 7 minutes and a half. I don't know. 7 minutes. Waterproof. I don't know. A realistic 7 minutes of like what a fairly, like, I'm okay on the guitar. I kind of know what I'm doing a bit, and sometimes I don't. I'm gonna punch some stuff in. So a lot of people at this level of music who are purchasing gear like this to make at home and like potentially like release their own music. I've been doing that for a long time, just putting things out, small run tape, Bandcamp only. It lives somewhere. I don't have dreams of living in a van again and playing music like I did when I was younger. This is fine. This is cool. Maybe this is a benefit to you if you're in the same, you want to create. This is like sitting down and playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, except it's like synthesizer person and there's no cheat code for money unless your parents are loaded. But it's a lot of fun nonetheless. Most of these videos will definitely be under 10 minutes. The intent is to get right to the 7 minutes in heaven jam and then move on, and that's cool. All that preamble at the beginning is a one-time thing, I promise you. Thank you for listening. My name is Michael. This has been knocking the camera around 7 minutes in heaven. Cheers.